Welcome to Subramani. I'm trying to draw some similarities of going into the forest to see animals and investing, right? So, of course, Morgan Housel has also written about this in his book, so you could find some similarities. There is a lot of theory on how you should behave when you go into the forest. Now, when you go in a jeep to see the animals, you're reasonably well protected because the tiger does not see you as food, does not see you as threat. It has got used to seeing so many jeeps. So normally when we go into the forest, it's about 50 to 100 square foot area where you're allowed to 100 square meters area where you're allowed to drive your jeep, or rather the jeep being driven by the government officials. So there you're told very clearly that when you see a tiger coming very closely or any big animal coming very closely, you have to sit calm. We are all told that theories, and I mean, people like me have been going there for the last 30 years. So we think we know the theory, and that is what we will do. But the truth be told, it is not always true. Once when we were in Tadoba, very near a big tiger, the tiger was sitting peacefully, and suddenly there was something happened, and there was a bee strike, and there were the millions of bees, tens of thousands at least, swarmed on the jeeps. If you've seen the jeeps in the forest area, the jeeps are they don't have a roof. They are topless. There's no window. It's for you to stand and be able to shoot and be able to see the animals. So that's how it is. And there was a bee stinging operation going on, and there was no way how anybody could have escaped that. Luckily for us, we had some brains, and we were carrying some big towels to keep the cameras. So therefore, we put the towel on our head and sat tight. We also saw people waving and moving their hands to push away the bees. Now, this is the worst thing you can do in case of an animal attack. Don't move, because when you move, they feel threatened, they will attack you. So whether it's a bear or a tiger or anything, or even an elephant, you have to just stand still, because you cannot outrun any of these animals. All these animals run at 10 times the speed at which you can run, right? And that too in the jungle, where you could fall, you could trip, or you could stamp on a snake or some other animal, right? So why am I saying this? It's because we speak a lot of theory about sitting tight when the markets fall. Now look at it this way. It is easy to say that you should do your SIP, and when the market is down, you should do a lump sum. Now there are two problems to this. One, no advisor ever tells you to keep money in the in debt funds to take advantage of such opportunities. So largely people's money is kept in debt funds just to meet some emergencies. So if the monthly expenses are say 1 lakh and they want to keep 6 months expenses, some 6 lakhs will lie in an emergency fund, not enough to make use of the advantage of a falling market or things like that. So a person with say a 2 crore, 3 crore kind of a net worth would have 6 lakhs in cash, and some more money, some more cash maybe to meet some daughter's school fees, daughter's medical expenses, daughter's education, the son's education, or something like that. But that is money which is needed next 2-3 years. So you really can't do much even if the market were to fall, right? So March 2020 was a great opportunity, but many people may not have had cash. The question more important is, at that point in time, what is your mindset? You're scared. You're worried that you'll lose your job, or you've already lost your job, or your boss has sounded you out saying, look, it's going to be tough. You are a pilot working in an airline. Your wife is an employee of the same airline. It's very common to find husband and wife working in the same airline. Or you are in the airline and your wife is in the hotel industry. So in March 2020, you would have been so scared, right? You would have been scared that you lose your job. You would have been scared that you don't have adequate income, adequate cash to meet any emergencies, and the emergency was visible to you, right? It was there, saying this is what is going to happen. Companies are going to lay off people. Sales is going down. There is a lockdown, right? So all this, it is in this time that you have to invest. Now, no amount of training can ever teach you how to invest during such bad times. It is impossible. Even when you are handling other people's money, if you're a fund manager handling other people's money, it is complete theory gibberish to say, oh, market will recover in 3-4 months. That is another nonsensical theory doing its round. We had no clue how COVID would impact. I was lucky that I was sitting on some cash. I anyway sit on some cash generally from time to time. And I invested money, and I also exited when my money doubled, right? So I said, okay, if I buy this at 30 rupees, at 60, 70 rupees, I'm exiting, because I don't know whether it will fall further again. It may have gone from 60 to 100 or 120, but that was my mindset saying, okay, let me take the profit, because COVID lasted 2.5 years. The bull market, the bear market lasted only 2.5 months. So even after 2.5 months, it was very scary, wondering what is happening, right? So any amount of training, this is somewhat like the training which happens to people in the army. They are taught that there will be bullets flying around them and all that. So everybody is perfectly ready with the theory. But when bullets start flying, then it's a real test, right? So like when we were tested with by those bees, it was not a tiger attacking us. When the tiger had attacked, we were definitely panicked, jumped from the jeep, become easy prey for the tiger. Such a thing has not happened ever. I don't think any jeep has been attacked by a tiger, because the tiger does not think of the jeep as food. Therefore, it does not attack, and now it is reasonably confident that these jeeps are not a threat. So it's not afraid, and it does not see you as food. It does not attack. But any amount of training to you as an army man to say, oh, you don't have to worry, but just remember, one of those bullets could have your name. How cool will you be? How clear will your training be? How clear or how useful would your training be? Yes, of course they have to be trained. So all the training happens. They are told that they have to sit calm when bullets are flying all around you. But it is not easy. You see people dying, because even assuming you're an Indian soldier and this is on the Pakistan, that you're fighting with Pakistan or with China, when you see bullets flying both sides, when you see people dying, you know next could be your number. It is almost impossible to sit calmly. So it is easy to say you should sit calmly and you should have invested over a long period of time. That is easy to say, impossible to do. But what happens for people like us, who have seen 1996 to 2003, or even prior to that, markets were not doing well. Then we have seen the tech boom. Then we have seen the 2003 to 2007 super boom. Then we saw a small recession. We've got used to believing that, oh, even if there is a market fall, it will be temporary. Temporary in my mind is 6 years, right? But many people who believe from 2003 the bull markets are long and the bear markets are short. Earlier we believed that the bear markets were long and the bull market was short. We have no clue now what will happen in the future. But to believe that you have mastered something because you have watched it over 20 years is absolutely ridiculous, because Buffett says it takes 80, 100 years, and 100 years is not long term enough, because you can't say what is going to happen. All over the world things are changing. What happens if other countries get more prosperous, they buy less from you? What happens if the Ukraine war is over? What happens during Ukraine war? Will people spend more on energy? Will more energy resources be tapped? Will there be more digging for oil and coal? Will all that happen? Or will we spend more on renewable energy? Or will we be smart enough to go to nuclear energy? Because if Germany had continued its growth in nuclear energy, it wouldn't be so dependent on Russia for oil and gas, right? All those things, we don't know what will happen. To say that such and such a thing will happen will be ridiculous, because we don't have a clue as to what will happen. So when you're not very sure about the future, when you're worried that somewhere COVID is not gone, it is just lurking in the dark, and it could pounce on you. With all these uncertainties, the question is, how much guts will you have to do an SIP? How much guts will you have to do to put a lump sum? How favorably are you placed? Do you have money in the debt portion at all, or have you removed it and gone for a vacation or things like that? So do you have the money? Are you able to sit tight? I'm not questioning whether you should sit tight. That is, of course, you have to sit tight. Has the past experiences told you that sitting tight has its benefits? Has watching my videos, has it helped you to be able to sit tight? It's a function of all these things which will decide whether you will make money, because There will always be a time when you should do an SIP, but there is a time when you should be doing a big lump sum because you say, oh, I think market is bottomed out, or at least partially do a say if you have 100 rupees, you put 33 rupees because the market has hit a new bottom or whatever, and everybody is talking about the market being very pessimistic, right? So maybe that's the time to invest. But the question is, do you have the mental ability and the physical ability to sit through tough times? Because training doesn't help. Training does not give you a strong stomach. Training can give you a strong brain, but you need a strong stomach to be investing during such times. Thank you.